to the box score, brought to you this week by Blackwell Realty and the Kirby team. They're our title sponsor. And Murphy, week 1 in the books. I know I was excited on Saturday night, and I'm sure fans across the mid-state were glad to have high school football back.
Oh, I know they were, Terry. Great fan support. I went to a game on Thursday and Friday, but a lot of 1- and 2-point ball games from one end of the state to the other, so it looks like it's going to be a really exciting season of high school football in Tennessee.
Definitely, Wat. We have got the Gordonsville at Smith County. Let's go ahead and look at the stats brought to us by KFC Taco Bell of Gordonsville and Smithville. Of course, our game of the week for Huff and Puff Trucking was the Owls and the Tigers in that cross-county rivalry at Carthage on Saturday night. And the Owls, as you can see, kind of dominated play statistically. You look at the rushing, 268 yards on 45 carries. Nearly 6 yards of rush for the Owls, then held Gordonsville to 25 rushes for 40 yards. And I would say if you were a betting man, you probably could have got a lot of action that the Owls would have more passing yards than the Tigers. The freshman, Caden Powell, just was outstanding. 7 of 9, also rushing for 75 yards on 6 carries and 3 touchdowns. What a great effort from the freshman, Caden Powell, and we're going to look at some of his highlights, Murphy. But to be in that game on that big a stage in your first ever high school game, what a performance.
Pretty impressive for a freshman. I think you nailed it right there, Terry. But being the son of a coach, obviously he's been learning since his feet hit the floor, more or less, I would say. And I was very impressed with his execution, with his speed, with his accuracy. He had it all and has a chance to be one of the better quarterbacks to come out of Smith County in a long, long time if he continues to improve like he showed us the other night.
Powell scored the only touchdown in the first half on a 17-yard run, then followed that in the third quarter with touchdown runs of 16 and 30 yards. And he didn't run it a lot, only 6 times, but he was very, very effective when he did.
It made it awfully easy on those guys to carry the ball, though, with the offensive line that Smith County has. That's as big a high school offensive line as I've seen in a long, long time. A couple of guys tipping the scales over 300 pounds and another one scaring it to death. They're going to cause some problems for an awful lot of opponents this year.
You know, Gordonsville was vastly undersized, Murphy, but I really thought they battled hard. And when you look at their effort being outmanned a lot of times 50 and 60 pounds per player, I thought they battled.
Yeah, they did, but obviously you take a look at the score and it was pretty obvious Smith County had the better squad on the football field Saturday night. When
you look at Matthew Albritton, senior signal caller for Gordonsville, 11 of 18 with 1 interception, 101 yards. Gentry being his favorite target. Of course, he caught the only touchdown as Brady caught one from 35 yards out. But a big key in the game, I felt like, was penalties. The Owls probably could have opened up a larger lead had they not had 13 penalties for 159 yards.
I think I understood someone to say, too, that the Albritton kid had been out with an injury for a while.
He had a foot injury, correct.
And has probably not fully recovered from that yet. He's still got some rust that needs to be knocked off here and there. But I think he'll be fine once the season rolls along. He was awfully impressive the last couple of years, but he's been running the offense since he was an 8th grader. So he'll be okay as the season rolls on.
When you look at the game and the ebbs and flows of it, the first half, the Owls had some big plays, but they were nullified either on offense or defense by personal foul or unsportsmanlike conducts. I realized things kind of got chippy out there, and I realized it's a big rivalry. But that's something that Matt Dyer said, hey, we're going to address that in practice this week.
Things like that happen, especially when you've got that much emotion on the line, as there always is in the Smith County Super Bowl, and that was certainly the case. Gordonsville had won the last 2 meetings between these teams, and everybody was on a razor's edge, so to speak, trying to make that big play. And those things happen, but you got to remember too, that was the first game of the season for the officials as well. And I'm not saying they did a good job, they did a bad job. I'm just saying that was their first time on the field as well, except for maybe some scrimmages here and there. So I think both of these teams are going to represent the confines of Smith County all season long. I really do.
Murphy, one last point. I felt like the 3 turnovers that Gordonsville had, a pass interception, a couple of fumble recoveries for the Owls, really solidified the defensive effort of Jason Harville's black and gold team.
It really did when you can't hold on to the football and, you've got your drive going, getting close to the opponent's goal line, and then all of a sudden you lose a handle on the football and it's all for naught. And it does take a lot of wind out of the sails. I think Gordonsville weathered the storm rather well in the first half, but Smith County just really poured it on in the last 2 quarters to make it insurmountable.
Of course, the Owls led 7-0, and then they scored 20 third-quarter points, scoring in their first 3 drives to put that game away. Let's go ahead and look at some Warren County and DeKalb County. We've got some highlights for that, and look in DeKalb County, what a win, 35-34, 2-point conversion right at the end. Murphy, it looks great if you get it. It looks bad if you don't, but the coaches in that game, they weren't holding back. And when you look at Bria's Trap, 12 for 17, 161 yards. Kobe Barnes, a big night rushing. Then you got Holden Trap. He caught the ball pretty good, but 4 kick returns for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ooh, that's huge.
Yeah, if there's that many yards, there better be some touchdowns in it, right? Yeah, I know. Steve doesn't mind letting his kids know that he believes in them, and that's going for 2 at the end of the ball game. They lost last year and really wanted to avenge that loss that started the 2021 season, and that's a huge win. Warren County's program has made some major strides the last couple of years under Coach Matt Turner, and I know that had to be a huge win for the Cab, getting that one on the road like that especially.
Let's go ahead and look at Fayetteville and Watertown. They played over in Watertown, and Fayetteville wins it 36-12. Of course, Fayetteville out of Lincoln County, right down on the Tennessee and Alabama border. When you look, the Johnson kid had 3 rushing touchdowns. He's just a phenomenal back. And Watertown did some good things, Murphy, and I think the one thing that they've got to try to adjust, and that's easier said than done, is control the turnovers.
Yeah, that was a big issue that Coach Webster reflected to us when we interviewed him for this show. Fayetteville under a new head coach, Daniel Johnson, he was part of that team that won a state championship. But obviously they've still got some speed in that football team, and they're probably going to be a single-A team that we'll probably have plenty to talk about as the season rolls along. They've got some pretty good players again this year, obviously.
Monterey comes from the mountain, and they go down to Woodbury and play against Cannon County, and I really thought this might be a little closer score than what it was. Monterey wins at 50-14, although Cannon County did score first in the ballgame, Murphy. Monterey, I guess, we talked about coming off the mountain. I think they were like a snowball rolling downhill. It just got bigger and bigger. And, I was getting updates from the game on Friday night, and it's like the scores were only coming maybe 30 or 45 seconds. I'm sure it wasn't that much, but it just seems like that maybe they got on a roll, and the Lions just had a tough time with the Wildcats.
Yeah, I think they only have 8 seniors on that Cannon County team this year, and the wheels obviously, if they didn't come off the bus, they were pretty close. The game was really pretty close at intermission, as I understand it, but Monterey really poured it on in the second half, and that was a problem for Cannon County last year. They generally start pretty well and keep it close, but they just ran out of gas in the second half, and it looks like that happened again in their season opener. But I don't want to make it all negative on Cannon County. Monterey's got a pretty good program going right now. They've moved up to the 2A level the last couple of years, and that doesn't seem to have bothered them very much. They went into the playoffs last year, and Coach Hughes is doing a great job up there, a former player himself at Cokeville High School.
Murphy and I will look at the region scores when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale. Whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
At DTC, we're proud to provide the communication and entertainment services you need to get the most from today's technology.
Earn a $25 bill credit for you and $25 for your favorite local school when you add or upgrade internet service or TV with DTC.
Get the technology you want, backed by local customer service from neighbors you know and trust. DTC Communications, your total communications provider.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Farron. We're going to take a look at some region scores from week 1. We're going to start with Region 4 1A. We've already talked about the Owls' big win over Gordonsville. Of course, Gordonsville had won 2 games in a row in Carthage before Smith County's 27-7 win on Saturday night. About 3,500 people there, Murphy. It was a tremendous atmosphere and, a really, really special place.
Yeah, it was. That next score surprises me a bit. I'm not sure if Joe Burns is down or if Harpeth has finally starting to stage a bit of a comeback. 10, 15 years ago, they were a pretty strong football team, but they've fallen on hard times. Numbers have been bad, but that win over Joe Burns has certainly got to be a huge positive effect for the coaching staff, the players, the administration, the entire community there in Cheatham County.
Looking at Clay County, a big win over Jackson County. Of course, Coach Maynard's wife, Wanda, a graduate, I think, of Jackson County High School. They win it 40-0 in Gainsboro. That's gotten to be a pretty big rivalry through the years. But, Bruce Lamb's got Mike Dickerson, former Owl head coach, Jimmy Maynard, former Cookville head coach, former Owl head coach. They may challenge for that region championship.
It's almost a coaching hall of fame with all the guys that are rallying around Clay County football right now. I saw Jackson County a couple of Mondays ago, or a couple of weekends ago when they played at Cannon County, and I thought Sean had a pretty good football team over there. They kind of went head-to-head. They scored on the very first play of the scrimmage, and then it was 0-0 after that. But Clay County obviously just rebuilding and played very well this past week, it looks like.
Webb School gets a big win over Red Bowling Springs. Now we're going to turn our attention to the Sonic Carthage Region 2A scores, Fayetteville over Watertown. And then in an offensive shootout, Macon County over East Robertson, 43-33. I talked to Coach Kyle Shoulders on Saturday, and he told me, he said, Terry, they've got a lot of athletes to do the Indians.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be the case all season long. Macon County, I think, coming up on Smith County's schedule here real soon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
okay.
Week 10, I'm sorry.
Toward the end of the
game.
season.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking at Harpeth over Joe Burns, Friendship, a big win at Trousdale County, and you just don't see Trousdale County behind 34-0 at half very many times, Murphy, when they're playing on the creek bank.
No, that one's really hard to decipher. There was Friendship Christian that good, or is Trousdale County down quite a bit this year? I've heard that numbers were down a little bit. They had a good senior class last year, but if that's an indication, it's going to be a tough year in Hartsville for sure.
Westmoreland, narrow win over Portland. Of course, last year they lost a lot of close games. Stratford over Whites Creek. Let's go ahead and look at Region 4 3A. Their scores: Monterey over Cannon, Lewis County over Community, Giles County over Lincoln County, Marion County over Grundy, South Pittsburgh over Sequatchie. Anything stands out there, Murph?
Not really. Lewis County with a new head football coach since Bobby Sharp has gone over to coach Columbia Central. Not a lot of surprises there. It looks like South Pitt's still going to be the nemesis for all the 1A teams, regardless of what side of the state they're on.
Looking at Region 5 3A scores, Smith County over Gordonsville, East Nashville, a big win. Murphy over Father Ryan. The quarterback for East Nashville, which returns, he was 6 of 9 for 9 of 15 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I'd say they've got some speed on that football team and a pretty good guy throwing the football too.
Clay County over Jackson County. Of course, East Nashville went to the Class 3A championship game a year ago. Hunters Lane over Maplewood, and then Stratford over Whites Creek in a close one. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores from Region 4 4A. DeKalb County, their narrow win over Warren County. Whitwell over Cumberland County. White County, big over Livingston. Macon over East Robertson. Stone Memorial over Lenore City. And then Upperman, a big win at Tennessee Tech over Cookeville last Thursday night.
Yeah, some fan of Lenore City sent me an email saying how illiterate I was for picking Stone Memorial over Lenore City, but I don't think Lenore City's won more than 2 games a year in the last 5 years.
Right.
So anyway, that's some of the downsides of picking winners.
There's more scores, Sonic of Carthage scores. We've got Boyd Buchanan. That's Gary Rankin's first game there for the Buccaneers. He gets a big win over Greenback. Oakland over Hendersonville. Lebanon rolls at Antioch. And then Gallatin, a little bit surprised there, Murphy, winning by 9 over Mount Juliet. Chad Watson's club getting a big win.
Yeah, it's a couple of Smith County boys with Chad that, well, no, wait a minute. That would be the game before with Lebanon and Chuck Gentry. But I understand that Gallatin-Mount Juliet game didn't get started until 8 o'clock. I think they had some weather issues over there or something. But like you said, Coach Rankin's team, new team at Boyd Buchanan, they play at Davidson Academy this coming week in Nashville. And I'd say there'll be some folks from Smith County making that haul up there to see Rankin at a private school and how that works out.
Let's go ahead and look at some games that are be coming up. Watertown at Gordonsville, as we said, big rivalry there. Tennessee Heat at Red Bowling, Joe Burns at McEwen, and Clay County at Clinton County, Kentucky. Murphy, but I know the Watertown Gordonsville we think will probably be the best out of those 4.
Oh, without a doubt. Tennessee Heat, they don't. I don't think they have a home stadium. That's pretty much a homeschooled football team, and they got popped pretty good last week. I think Red Bowling's really got a chance to win that ball game.
Hopefully they will. Let's go ahead and look at Region 4 2A. Of course, Watertown at Gordonsville, Westmoreland at Macon County. That should be a great game in Lafayette. That's been a big rivalry through the years, and it was a very close game that Macon County won a year ago. I think it'll be a good one.
I think so. And the next one, Trousdale County at Upperman. I'm afraid Trousdale County fans are going to get it on the chin again. This Upperman team is pretty special, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're still playing when the Blue Cross Bowl rolls around in Chattanooga.
Of course, East Robertson, we talked about how talented the Indians are at White House Heritage, Glencliff at Whites Creek, and then Harpeth at Cheatham County, and more Region 4 2A games. Flip the script. Let's go to Region 4 3A, Cannon County at Cascade, Sequatchie County at Marion. That's always a big rivalry. Anybody in the valley, when 2 teams play, Murphy, that's always a headbanger.
And South Pittsburgh really put it on Sequatchie last week, so they're kind of licking their wounds down there a little bit, and should be a good one though. That's one of those games where emotions are very, very strong when those 2 teams play on the same field.
Tyler Academy at Grundy County, and then Giles County at Nolensville. And speaking of Nolensville, they're on a pretty good roll trying to get to the United States Championship game in the Little League World Series. But Murphy, that Giles County Nolensville football game, I think could be a good one.
Could be. Nolensville won it kind of going away last year, I think, by about 3 touchdowns. But 2 really good programs there, and I think Nolensville will. Playing at home will probably rule in that one, but they can't overlook this Giles County team. They're always tough.
Let's go ahead and look at some Region 5 3A matchups. Of course, we talked about the DeKalb County Tigers and Coach Trapp and his squad coming to Carthage. DeKalb won a year ago. Then you got Republic at Maplewood. You got John Overton High School at Stratford. East Nashville at Stewart's Creek, and then Jackson County at York. When you look, I know York struggled in week 1. Jackson County, struggled against Clay County. But, these teams right now just trying to get their traction, Murphy, and get ready for the region part of their schedule.
Yeah, all of these are pretty much just backyard brawls for the most part. A lot of rivalry involved in these two teams, especially DeKalb and Smith County and Jackson County and York. They've been playing each other for a long, long time. York, of course, down at the 2A ranks now, last year and this year, and probably for the next 2 as well. John, Overton at Stratford, those teams normally don't play each other, but Arcente Broom, who coached at Maplewood for so long, is now the head football coach at Overton, and not a lot of love lost between either of those teams either, though.
Should be a good one. Let's go ahead and look at some Region 4, 4A matchups this week. Of course, we talked about DeKalb County coming to Carthage, and then Westmoreland and Macon. Cookeville at Livingston. Of course, Livingston has really struggled the last year or two, Murphy, and Cookeville really struggled in their opener against Upperman.
Yeah, they did. There's 2 games up there that really intrigued me. One of those is DeKalb County at Smith County, a great rivalry there. And then Westmoreland at Macon County. What is that, Highway 52 that separates those 2 communities? And Westmoreland's a real deal this year, and Kyle Shoulders better have his team very well prepared, and I know he will. But Coach Perry at Westmoreland seems to do a good job, and anytime you see a Perry in the coaching ranks, they're going to have their teams very well prepared.
Murphy and I will have an interview with head coach Gavin Webster of Watertown, the Gordonsville alum, as he plays his alma mater in Gordonsville on Friday night. And it should be a fun one. I know the DTC game of the week, I may have said earlier, is DeKalb and Smith. It's not. It is Watertown and Gordonsville. We usually cover DeKalb and Smith, but unfortunately, when they realigned, those games fell on the same night, and that's 4 of the 5 teams that we traditionally covered. So we're excited about that. We'll take a break and be back with the interview with Coach Webster, as we remind you, you're watching The Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
Opioid overdoses continue to claim lives in Tennessee. Naloxone, an opioid reversal drug, can save lives. Call the Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition for a free, quick, and confidential training. Also, if you are struggling with substance use disorder due to your alcohol and drug use, help is only a phone call away. Call the Tennessee Red Line. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
And welcome back to the Box Score. We've been joined by Watertown head coach, former Gordonsville alum, and we're not going to hold that against you, Gavin, but I know it's got to be a special week for you, going against your friends and, a place that you grew up at, and playing Gordonsville and Watertown, which is a great rivalry anyway, adds a little spice with you now in your 18th season at Watertown.
Yeah, it's always fun playing them. I got a lot of good memories over there. Got a lot of good friends. Got friends on the coaching staff, so it's always a good week. Anytime you play them, because it's the rivalry is got so much more intense over the years.
Gavin, you had a lot of seniors on your football team last year that had been key players for 2 or 3 years whenever the Watertown Purple Tigers took to the field. But you got a lot of new guys in there filling spots for people who have graduated and moved on. And I know that's probably had a whole lot to do with Fayetteville's big win last week.
Well, anytime you got you're trying to replace, I think we had 2-3 starters returning on offense and probably not much more than that on defense. It takes a little time. Most of these guys, first time I ever played, first time I ever started. We had I think three of the 5 offensive linemen. Might as well say 4, counting the tight end, first time they had ever stepped on the field and started last Friday night. So, they got big shoes to fill. We've had success, and these guys have come along, and we're just trying to get better each day and just progress.
Gavin, when you look at this year and a new quarterback replacing a guy that was a 3-year starter in Kuzno, that's big shoes to fill. And I know last week you had some turnovers that really hurt you offensively against a very quality Fayetteville team.
Yeah, it was, and that goes, anytime you're playing someone of that caliber, as a Fayetteville, you can't afford to have turnovers, much less, 4 or 5 turnovers there. So it really kills you, puts you behind the 8 ball. So when you play someone like that, and we've talked about it, you got to protect the football. You can't force stuff and, take what they give you. And, it just, it was a tough outing. He's a tough kid, though, and I'm convinced he's learned from it, and he's only going to get better.
Coach, when you look at your staple the last few years has been your defense, and really have played well, and you had a solid running game and throw the ball, when you needed to. And it seems like your defense, Coach, once again, is probably going to have to carry you, especially until some of these youngsters on the offensive side of the ball kind of get acclimated to being under the lights and starting and producing.
Yeah, they are. Coach Hackett does a great job over there, and, they're playing really good right now. They played really well last week against a Fayetteville team, and offensively we didn't help them out any, and they get back on the field and tired and everything. So, till we started making all the turnovers, defensively we were playing really well. Did give up a few big plays, for his 3rd and longs convert, but it really didn't hurt us that bad. But they are, they're playing well right now, and hopefully they can keep playing well and to our offense, this offense start coming around.
Gavin, looking at your schedule, it's a bit of a murderer's row. You've got Gordonsville this week, and then Westmoreland, a much improved football team. Your big county rival thing with DeKalb County, and Upperman 2 weeks after that. Those are pretty tough ball games. You could very easily be 1-4, 1-5 after the first 6 games.
You're right. We could be. I don't, Murphy, I don't know who scheduled that,
I know your AD,
yeah,
Coach.
Yeah.
I said, I know your principal and AD didn't do that to you, surely.
Yeah. No. We did that. We like playing, good football teams. We feel like it only gets us better. And down the road when it comes playoff time and when you get your region schedule, and in the past we've been fortunate enough. We've been on the positive end times we got through with all those games. So this year, remains to be seen. We're hoping that halfway through we're not 1-4. We're hoping we're 3-2, And if not, we'll just keep working to get better.
Coach, when you look and, you've got that inexperience, really the only way, even in scrimmages, to get that experience is be under the lights on Friday night. I mean, there's no substitute for that. You can watch all the film you want, but until they get out there and, get accustomed to that environment, Coach, and that's really, you just have to go through the growing pains sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it is growing pains, and you're right. Scrimmages really don't do justice, because most of the time you're out there with them and you're coaching them up and talking to them and everything, and it just comes from actually Friday Night Lights, getting out there playing. On the way they're going to get better.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt there. With so many seniors last year, one of a coach's biggest concerns has to be senior leadership. Is that an issue right now, or have some of last year's juniors understood the pressure they're under to provide that for you and the entire football team?
Well, we only have 8 seniors, so we're playing. Of course, got a big junior class and a big sophomore class. So leadership has been good. We've got a couple guys that's back off of last year's teams that are seniors now that were very vocal, and of course teams leaning on those 2 guys now, and and we kind of we look to them to lead this football team. So we've got a couple that's pretty vocal, and they know what's got to be done.
Coach, when you look at Friday night's game and you going back to Gordonsville, and I won't say what year you graduated, I think I remember, but when you look at that, Coach, it's a special place to play at Turney Ford Field, and the setting there is always good, and I know there'll be tons of fans there in attendance.
Yeah, it's a great place to play a football game, and they've done a lot of work over there, and it's actually a great place to watch a football game. So it's always been a good atmosphere, fun atmosphere when you go over there, and it's a special place. There's a lot of history and a lot of tradition over there.
Gavin, is that, as Watertown's football coach, you've been playing Gordonsville a long time, and a lot of that nervousness or jitters or whatever you want to call it that you may have had those first 3 or 4 years were probably at a peak. But do you still get that special feeling in your gut when Gordonsville comes up on the schedule on that Friday night?
A little bit, used to when I play, I was really when we play really, really nervous, But I guess I've done it for so long now, it's not as bad, but you still got that, feeling in your gut, a little excitement, a little nervousness, but not near as bad as it used to be.
Coach, when you look at this game, you really don't know what Gordonsville team to expect, in the fact that they had so many injuries last week to some key players. So I know that you don't have film, or maybe even back to if you swapped not only last week's Saturday night game against the Owls in Carthage, even preseason, if you had scrimmages, you may not see a lot of these players that are going to be having to play Friday night because of injuries. Is that much of a problem?
No, I don't think it is. We pretty much study what they do offensively and what they're going to line up defensive. They're not going to change what they do defensively. It's just maybe different personnel, but we just prepare for defense and prepare for an offense.
Gavin, TSSAA's Board of Control met last week, and one of the things that they decided to do was put some very critical issues off for maybe a year or so, and it looks as though whatever your schedule looks like right now, especially as far as regional competition is concerned, is going to be the same. You're going to have to line up against Trousdale County for at least the next couple of years, it looks like.
Yeah, I didn't, I caught wind of all that, hey, that's fine if they're going to, keep everything the same, just kind of waiting, I guess for them to really, they really hadn't sent it out, as far as made it that public yet, I don't think. But I heard a lot of stuff, and, hey, we've got a great rivalry at Trousdale too. So, it's always fun playing those guys.
Well, Coach, I know it's going to be Sykes versus Gordonsville. Of course, Sykes, your former hometown, your mom, dad's place over there. Every time I pass by, I think about them, and really great people, and I'm blessed to get to know your family through the years. And of course, you're younger than I was as far as playing on the field, but I think there'll be a lot of those emotions that will be true when Gordonsville hosts the Watertown Tigers in the DTC 3 game of the week come Friday night.
Oh, I'm sure it will, Terry.
Well, best of luck to you and the Purple Tigers.
All right, thank you, Terry. Thank you, Murph.
See you, Coach.
And we'll take a break and be back with more as you're watching the box score brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Kirby team.
So, go check it out.
Deterring crime. It's the first job of a home security system from DTC Security. For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. There's never been a better time to get started. Let us help protect your home.
So?
A lot of nice stuff and an alarm.
Don't delay. Call DTC Security now or visit us online.
Don't be fooled. Vaping is just another way to deliver nicotine to your lungs. Learn the facts and escape the vape. We get it. Quitting is hard, but getting help is easy. Call the Tennessee Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW for free counseling and cessation patches. Sign up for the free Tennessee Tobacco Quit line program and let us help you quit for good. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Catch coverage of high school football action on DTC Sports each week. Watch DTC 3 every Friday night at 6:45 or online at dtc3.tv for football game night as DTC Sports presents the area's best games. Join Chris Vance, Luke Dykus, and J.R. Smith for all the action. Watch this week as the Gordonsville Tigers host the Watertown Purple Tigers. Football game night all season long on DTC Sports.
And welcome back, and we're going to feature Murphy Fair, the brains of this operation.
I don't know about that,
on some of these picks here, and let's talk about our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. It's the Purple Tigers of Watertown at Gordonsville, a long, heated rivalry. I talked to some of the older people in our community and in our viewing area, and they always used to talk about the Gordonsville-Watertown game always ended in a fight. So, or there were several fights in the stands or wherever, and I'm glad that people have gotten more civil now, but still a big rivalry.
This is one I'm certain of. I'm picking the Tigers in this one. What
good pick, Murph. Good pick.
That was pretty easy.
Blue or purple?
Well,
we'll find out in a minute, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It'll be purple probably. No, wait a minute. That's Watertown. I'm not gonna go either way. I'm not sure that's on my list of picks. Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and look at some history. Of course, they played every year since 1975. Of course, some of those years they were in the same district. Some they weren't. Gordonsville beat Watertown 36-0 in the Lions Bowl in 1975. Gordonsville leads the overall series 35-13, but Watertown has won 6 of the last 7 meetings. The most points scored in the game, 48 by Watertown in 2018. Gordonsville scored 48 in 2012, but traditionally this is a low-scoring game. There's been 14 shutouts in the series. And Murphy, when you look at that, of course, it's early. I know it's only week 2. Do you look for a low-scoring or high-scoring game here?
I'd say low-scoring. The coaches of both of those teams over the years, over the decades, have pretty much been defensive-minded coaches, and that's why, like you said, they've generally been low-scoring, and I think that'll probably be the case again. Ought to be a great game when those two get together. It always is.
But, you look at Steven Jackson, first-year head coach for the Gordonsville Tigers. He's always hung his hat and, been a defensive coordinator. And I felt like Gordonsville's defense played well last week under circumstances, be undermanned. They had some players that get hurt. They had players to cramp, and that was a big key, I felt like, in the Owls really kind of taking over there in that third quarter.
I think like you said, though, the fact that this is not a regional game, it's almost as important as a regional game because there are geographic regional ramifications from the game. But both of these teams getting tough losses last week really need to get some momentum going before they get into the regional competition. And this will be a good one to start with.
All right, Murph, put your prediction hat on. We're going to let you off with an easy one to start with. DeKalb County traveling to Carthage to play Smith County.
Yeah, I've got to go with Smith County. I was so impressed with their freshman quarterback, and that offensive line is going to pose a lot of problems. They've got bulldozers in the offensive line. My goodness, 2 guys over 300 pounds. I've got to go with the Owls in that one.
Okay, Cannon County going on the road. They were at home last week, I think, against Monterey, and they're going down, I believe that's Bedford County, to Cascade.
It is, and it's not very far from my house at all, less than a 30-minute drive. And Cannon County lost to them last year. Cannon had a good first half last year against the champions and let it get away from them. And as I understand it, the same thing happened against Monterey last week. They need to start fast and finish. And if they can do that, they can beat Cascade. So I'm going to go with the Lions on that one.
Okay, Watertown at Gordonsville, and you can't say Tigers, Murph.
No, I guess not. I'm going to have to make a pick. I'll have to go with Gordonsville. I'm a big fan of Steven Jackson. I love Coach Webster too, but I didn't live in Wilson County. I lived in Smith County, so I'm going to have to go with the Blue Tigers of Gordonsville.
Just have to see how many of those kids, if any of those that were injured last week, is able to return. That could be the key to that ball game.
I agree.
Let's go ahead and look at some more picks. This is statewide, and Murphy, a big, I guess you'd say, rivalry. It's not been as big a rivalry as of late because Loudon, and I believe that's the Redskins, have dominated this series. But that's a lot like the Owls and Tigers last week is the Loudon-Lenore City game.
They call it the Battle of the Bridge. That rivalry between those two is just as big, if not bigger, than the Carthage-Gordonsville rivalry, and I'm going to have to go with Loudon again. Jeff Herrig, since taking over that program, I don't know that he's lost to Lenore City. I think there's an 8 or 9 game win streak by Loudon, maybe more than that. So I've got to go with the Redskins.
Anderson County at Science Hill. That's way up in Johnson City, up in East Tennessee.
Anderson County, a fun place to go, and I've been invited to come to one of their ball games this year, and I think I'll probably have to do that. Anderson County scored a nice win against Sevier County last week. I think they're on a bit of a roll, but Science Hill is a quality program, 6A program against a 4A Anderson County team. I've got to go with Science Hill in that one.
And then Maryville at Powell, and that should be a good matchup.
Powell, the defending 5A state champion, but a lot of seniors on that football team. I've got to go with Maryville in that one.
Of course, Maryville playing at that 6A level and probably on a collision course once again for Oakland in that state semifinals, Murph, to see who gets to the Blue Cross Bowl.
I would say that's a no-brainer, Terry.
And we want to thank Justin Malden and for all our fine sponsors. I know when we look at Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team, we thank them being our title sponsor. And for Murphy Fair, I'm Terry Collins, and we're ready for week 2 of high school football.